Welcome to the channel, everyone. I'm Skratch. This is another Raid Shadow Legends video. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day. We are currently on the test server, guys. We're gonna have a look at a brand new fusion champion, the Christmas fusion, Blizaar The Howler. We're gonna see if this champion is worth it. Is it worth it for us to spend all this time to get the fusion done during the holiday time? So overall, as a champion, he looks pretty badass design-wise. You know, the kit is decent too. Is not bad. We're gonna take him in for a spin in different areas and see kind of like how he plays out. And I'll be honest with you guys, I think he will have a lot of value in the new content. I feel like that's where he will have the best value overall in the entire game. And yes, most probably that will be the main reason why I personally won't skip this fusion. I will actually try to complete it. He is a Spirit Affinity defense-based champion from the Ogryn tribes, guys. We do have restrictions on factions, rarities, etc. in the new content in the Curse series, so kind of like makes sense to try and collect all the Pokemons now, you know, basically. Base stats, 20k HP, 1.4k defense, 102 speed, basic crit and crit damage, 50 resistance, 10 accuracy, pretty good. He's not a damage dealer, okay? Let's just mention that from the very beginning. Even though he might have a fairly decent multiplier on this skill of 4.3, if I'm not mistaken, the rest of the kit doesn't really do much in terms of damage, and ally protection with high crit damage, they just don't go good together, okay? So you do need to book him, okay? This is another thing that you need to keep in mind. If you really want to get the best value out of the champion, he desperately needs the books. Like this skill, for example, he needs the 25% chance to freeze to be 100%. He needs the cooldown decrease to 4 turns. The skill right here needs the cooldown decrease from 5 turns to 3 turns. The A1 needs books to increase the chance of landing the freeze, which attacks 3 times at random. Okay, so when you're going against multiple targets, you don't know where the hit will go. And when you are going against a specific target, like the Fire Knight, for example, yes, this skill can definitely work pretty good. And I think that that's where he will actually be a superstar. When we have restrictions on the Curse series, we have the hard mode Fire Knight, and the restriction is the Ogryn tribes, which at the moment is not in for this month. But that's something that will constantly change, and I have no idea how many rotation is planning to bring in. 2 rotations, 3, 4, 5, no idea whatsoever, because they haven't disclosed that information. The A2, this is probably the best thing in his kit, in my opinion. I really like this. We're gonna take him in for a spin in the clan boss as well, guys, because of this skill, basically. Removes any stun or other crowd control debuffs from all allies. I wish this would have removed Polymorph. That would be pretty interesting, but of course it's not going to do that. Then places an increased defense buff on all allies for 2 turns and an ally protection buff on all allies for 2 turns on a 3-turn cooldown. This is very, very nice overall as a skill, considering that you can get a cleanse done and put the rest of the buffs on your team. I think is definitely very, very nice. The A3, AoE, freeze, and decrease the thermometer on enemies by 30%. The passive is nice again. Whenever an enemy tries to place a freeze debuff on this champion, instantly transfers it from this champion to that enemy. And the active effect, whenever this champion is killed, revives them with 30% HP and thermometer and places a revive on that buff on them for 1 turn. So he revives with revive on that, which is pretty nice, on a 3-turn cooldown. But let me just quickly show you the build that I have on him. At the moment, I build him a bit odd, rather odd, I would say, because he is built for the Fire Knight. The build that I have on him is a bolster and a perception. The reason why I have the bolster is to be able to take a hit from the boss on the Fire Knight and try to wipe him off after, you know. And honestly, the stats are decent, okay? I haven't went crazy on defense, crazy on HP, 77k HP, 4k defense, 292 speed, 370 accuracy. Of course, I could get more HP on him. It's not a problem. I can just do that by changing the amulet, the ring probably, you know, and the banner is an accuracy one. Masteries, I have offense and support 3. I have Giant Slayer as tier 6, and this is pretty much how it looks like. We went with the support 3. We want to get rapid response. I haven't went with Arcane Celerity just in case if the Bommel will meet the Fire Knight one day in the new content, and that will be bad for us, you know. So I try to dodge that, and I went with Cycle of Magic and Lord of Steel just to avoid spending more gems on masteries later on. The good part is that the Cycle of Magic is only for the brand new boss uh, with a decreased cooldown of skills, so we don't have to worry about the rest of them, you know. So this is the build, guys. Let's take him in for a spin on Fire Knight. For the Fire Knight, we are doing stage 6, guys. I'll be very honest, on stage 10 with him, it doesn't really work. I tried my team, replacing champions in there. I tried completely different teams. It just doesn't work. He's not filling any of the important roles. No ally attack in there, or no counter attack in there, or no damage in there, or anything to really help the team. So it's not very great for stage 10. Now on stage 6, he can help you to keep the thermometer down, but again, I find it hard to justify in using him over Creodan the Blue, or you have the handsome new dude in the High Elves faction, the epic champion that does a lot of work as well. He's probably much better as well. Even Reservarg is better. He's not bringing you any frost or anything, but it gives you increased speed, which will help your team to rotate a bit faster, you know? So, honestly, how I mentioned, I think overall his real value will shine once the new restrictions for the next rotation will come in the Curse City, and you're gonna have to fight the Fire Knight with the Ogryn tribes and other factions. That's when he will really look good, basically, you know. But let's actually give it a go and see how the team will play out. The boss will never take a turn. Now on stage 10, again, the speed requirements are much higher on the boss. We cannot mess around without having like stupid speeds. That's probably one of the most whale content in the game. Fire Knight hard mode stage 10. I'll be honest. The gear needs to be disgusting for some of the teams. It's just overall a very powerful boss there, you know. Is completely different, that stage, from the rest. And probably you guys know, if you played it, you know how hard it is to do Fire Knight stage 10 without a few key champions, and how hard it is to try and replace one of them in there to try and get a 100% win rate team, or even a 90+% win rate team. I'm not saying I cannot make a team with this champion to work in there, but what's the point? I'm gonna showcase you a team that will be like, wow, 50% win rate or some disgusting thing like that, which is definitely not good, and then you're just gonna curse me after, being like, Skratch, you showed me a team and it doesn't work, you know. So I prefer to don't do that, you know. And I know some of you might be like, Skratch, you're just you're undervaluing the champion, and that's not the case. Just because I'm not making him look godly, how you might see it somewhere else, is not because I'm undervaluing it. It's just basically what the champion can do unfiltered, you know. So right here is going to be fine. Yakal will help us with the decreased speed, will help us to drop the thermometer. You see right there, he used three hits. We haven't dropped the thermometer. Newt right here with his A1. I think he used the A1, no? Or maybe I'm mistaken. Maybe he used the A3. Because I've seen no thermometer going down. I think it was the A3 actually. My bad. But the chance for him to land the freeze with a triple hit of 40% is not enough. Sometimes it procs on every single hit. Sometimes it doesn't proc at all. Now I thought about it to give him a different masteries to increase the chance of landing freeze. But honestly, I don't think it's worth it, you know, because it's just, what, a 5% extra chance for it to proc, and I'll rather have Giant Slayer. And like this is more helpful in other content as well, you know. But here we go. This team is actually pretty consistent. This team is consistent as it is here, and yeah, you can definitely smash this boss under 3 minutes with this team all the time. Actually, under 2 minutes 30, because I haven't seen this team passing the 2 minutes 30 mark. And if you are looking to farm stage 6 of the Fire Knight and you don't have Creodan the Blue or the other champion, which I'm gonna show him to you right now, because I literally forgot his name. High Elves and Nalder Rhineblade. This one right here. You see? 3 times, 40% chance to land freeze. Basically the exact same thing that he does. But the only difference is that this skill attacks one enemy 4 times, guys. You can put decrease attack and decrease accuracy. This skill right here, double hitter as well, and has a chance to land decreased speed. So can you see the value? And this again, whenever an ally places a freeze debuff, this champion has a 30% chance to attack the target with their default skill. So he's so much better. He's so much better for the Fire Knight than the Fusion, okay? Creodan the Blue as well. Like it's pretty hard for me to make a case where that's it. I would use him over him 3 times, 35% chance to land freeze. AoE, double hit, chance to land freeze. Increase speed, boost turn meter, you know? So it's kind of like hard, man. It's hard. But then, how I mentioned, when you will encounter some new restrictions in the curse series on some of the bosses, like where do we have the Fire Knight? Right here. You come to this place, for example. This is the perfect example. When this will require Ogre tribes, he will be amazing. He will be the GOAT, okay? Because he deals with both of these bosses. So that's the main reason why I'm doing the fusion, okay? For this content only, okay? Yes, you can use him on the Doom Tower. If you need a support champion on Doom Tower waves to tank a bit for your team, basically, and have a bit of crowd control, a cleanse, he's amazing for this as well. 100%. You can run him in here too if you feel like it. Definitely not a bad thing. For faction wars, he's going to be amazing too. 100%. The crowd control, the protection for your team, you know, the ally protection, the increased defense. Now you could potentially make a case that he could be good for arena. Unfortunately, I have no tag team arena on the test server, guys. I could use him on a bolster set, and if you have accessories from the Hydra Clash to make a bolster and stone skin, a bolster and protection, could be helpful for a progression in arena too. You know, I like the passive and the A2 and then the A3 to have a freeze on the enemies. I think it can be pretty nice overall. But what I'm gonna do right now, guys, I'm gonna change the build on him, and we're gonna do a run in the clan boss. Now for the clan boss, guys, we are going to use this team. My purpose here is not to showcase a clan boss team. My purpose is to showcase the fusion champion and what he can do for your clan boss team. So if you don't have Valkyrie, Mishinaki, or if you don't have Nut, of course, use whatever champions you guys have available on your account. And you might want to fill in different roles with them, of course. But his role in here is to remove the stun, ally protect the team, and give increased defense. That's the whole point for the champion. Now, if we're going against a Spirit Affinity team, we're going to need a different champion that will put block debuffs or cleanse the decreased speed. He cannot do that, unfortunately, as well. It would have been just too good if he was able to do that, basically. We do have 2 decrease attack champions, and I'll be honest with you guys, I haven't ran a kill like this in a very long time where we actually see the champions moving in the clan boss, you know. But how you may notice, there we go. He's going to cleanse the stun. He will put ally protection and increase defense on the very first AoE. And then Valkyrie will put counter attack, which will allow us to have all the buffs for the AoEs, which will be massive. Now, the stun targeting here should be no one else but Mishinaki, if everything goes good, you know. Let's see, is it going good or is not? Yeah, so my stun target will be Mishinaki. That's kind of like what I was trying to get organized in here, but I wasn't sure if increasing the duration of buffs will mess anything up on any of my champions. Of course, I don't have lasting gifts on none of the champions, because that definitely messes up your team a lot when you're running a team like this. This really needs to be well organized. Don't have anything that messes up turn meter, anything that messes up the order of the skills, because that will completely throw these teams off as well. Very similar with the unkillable ones, to be honest. And we're not looking too bad so far, honestly. Turn 5 and we're at almost 10 million damage. Damn, that actually looks pretty good with the counter attack. The stun target stays the same. Mishinaki is the stun target. It gives us more defense as well. I have the defense lead, and most people will tell you that you only need roughly 4,500 defense on your champions for clan boss with increased defense. The rest is pointless. Well, let me tell you something else. Extra defense is not pointless on defense-based champions, because the more defense they have, the more damage they deal. It is pointless on different champions that don't deal damage based on defense, if you always have the increased defense, you know. So keep that in mind. Especially on the stun right here, we won't have the increased defense all the time, but what we'll have is the shield, you know. So that's actually Very, very important because that shield that we are getting from Valkyrie will help our team to stay alive. You see, and we're removing the stun, we land the debuffs, and we're just moving from here slowly and nicely. It's hard to match Newt's A3 with the defense down on the boss all the time, because I think Newt has the A3 on a 4-turn cooldown, if I remember it correctly, yes. So he's not the most efficient champion to deal damage on a 1-to-1 ratio team, but you know what? He will be doing a pretty good job all around. And I really thought that the champion will be very interesting for this particular reason as well. Like, let's just say you don't have any of these funky, crazy champions to do clan boss, and probably you will want to get this fusion champion to help you to get 2 keys or 3 keys on clan boss, guys. Using a champion, even a Skull Crusher, can be nice. You can run a double ally protection together with him, you know, and that's going to be awesome. Plus, you're going to remove the stun as well. You don't have Skull Crusher, you might have a Toragi. You run double ally protection with these 2 champions, and you remove the stun with him, and you get increased defense. So that actually allows you to fill in different roles by bringing in different champions. Now I have got Seeker and Earring here. She's not the best healer, but she extends the duration of buffs. And my goal is not to reach 1 billion damage because it's pointless. All you really need is 71 million damage, you know, and that's the goal of the team. But how I mentioned, if you are most probably considering to use this champion in your clan boss team, you are probably aiming to either get close to a 1 key or a double key or a triple key, and it really depends what champions you have as damage dealers, etc. But I feel like he definitely has a pretty good potential for clan boss overall, you know. And I'm not gonna go over the entire run here, guys, because this might take us actually quite a bit. We're on turn count 17, 30 million damage. So I'm going to fast forward from here on a bit more, and then I'm going to show you the new build that I have on the champion, and we're going to talk a bit more about him. Now we are on turn 45, guys. We already reached the 1 key, and how you may notice, my Mishinaki slowly is getting hammered because I don't really have any healing in this team. So Godseeker and Irish is just not capable to keep the healing up on the team. We just got slammed right there without having the decreased attack, and that costed us quite a bit. If I would have a different healer in here, this would be absolutely a walk in the park. I would probably reach 100 plus turns, honestly. To be honest, I think I could reach 100 plus turns, but as it is, without having any strong, consistent healing, is just not the not the case, unfortunately, you know. But either way, we are hitting more than enough when we're talking about damage. You know, like, look at that. He just came back 1 million damage. Pretty disgusting. And yeah, it's pretty good. Boss turn count number 50. He's doing the job. That's the main thing. He's doing the job. And of course, without having Valkyrie in here with that massive shield, we wouldn't survive as long. And a double ally protection could be much better. I'm actually gonna end it right here because no point to go more than this. We already got the damage that we kind of like wanted to get, you know. And him on Giant Slayer with a fairly decent build, you're gonna see the build in a second, actually almost got as much damage as Valkyrie, which is pretty impressive. Pretty impressive, actually. 11.3 from Valkyrie, and we have Blizaar with 10.4, guys. Pretty nice, actually. I was not expecting him to drop in as much damage, but I guess the Giant Slayer actually helped him quite a bit. But let me just quickly show you the build that I had on him. So I have him on a Resilience and double Defiance set, guys. That will bring more damage reduction, so it will help him with the ally protection. That's why I have Defiant on him. You see, having all this damage reduction from AoEs is gonna be massive, considering that he's doing ally protection. Total stats: 58k HP, almost 7,000 defense, 196 speed, 95 crit rate, crit damage as low as possible, no accuracy. So of course I have a defense banner on him. You know, I'm not going for accuracy. I don't need accuracy on the build here. But the main thing that is really helpful from here is this, you know, removes the stun, increased defense, ally protection. The passive can be nice to revive, but it's not really gonna be that game changing in the clan boss, you know. And masteries, I changed that a bit as well. I have offense and defense, Giant Slayer as tier 6, and Retribution. Now, I haven't really so many Giant Slayer procs, to be honest, for the entire duration of the run. So probably he could beat Valkyrie's damage. Now, this was my Valkyrie build. She's a +2. She is a bit more disgusting than him, actually quite a bit more. 8.1k defense, full crit rate, almost 200 crit damage. So that shows that he actually brought in quite a decent damage, I would say, compared to her, you know, and the builds that they have. But let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, guys. Are you planning to go for the fusion? I know the Path of Light event will be very important, and that will be kind of like the make it or break it for a lot of people. I do think he will be important in the Curse series in a different rotation. So that's why I'm going for the fusion. But that was all for the video. Appreciate every single one of you guys watching, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Peace.